Hello, welcome to your New Year's Evolution. 5 easy steps to ignite and fortify those all-important yearly goals that we set so that they become New Year's reality and not just New Year's resolutions. My name is Joseph McClendon III, and it is my pleasure, my privilege to be your host here for the next little while on this journey that has the potential to change the quality of your year, and really, for that matter, the quality of your life. And I know that might sound bold and flamboyant, but as you listen on, you're going to find that this powerful information you're about to learn, and more specifically, what you're about to do, truly will live up to those expectations. I'm honored, grateful, and humbled that you allow me into your life at this stage to share with you something that has made such an incredible difference in not only my life, but the lives of hundreds of thousands of people all around the world. And I also want you to know that I didn't just make this stuff up. And what I mean by that is I'd love to sit here and say I'm so brilliant and that I thought all of this stuff up and it all came as a brainchild of mine. But the truth of the matter is that throughout my life, I've had the privilege of having had some incredible mentors and teachers and coaches. And they've all shared with me a piece of their heart and their wisdom. And to be able to share this with you is both a gift to them and a gift to you. So again, welcome and congratulations for taking that step that most people won't. And what I mean by that is this. Everybody wants to have a great year. Everybody means to have a great year. With the best of intentions, all of us make New Year's resolutions. But you know what? Most of them don't work. As a matter of fact, most New Year's resolutions that are made are the same ones that people made the year before. And they came about pretty much the same way as well. Most people don't give it a whole lot of thought ahead of time. And the majority of them, quite honestly, happen, maybe just a few hours or a few minutes before New Year's Eve at maybe a New Year's Eve party when somebody says, hey, what are your New Year's resolutions? And even though we may have thought about it, most of us make it up right then and there. And we say this is what we want, and we really do mean to make it happen, but it rarely does. And part of the reason is the old way of doing it and the traditional way of doing it, what we call the New Year's resolution, just doesn't work. And that's why, by the way, I call it the New Year's Evolution, because it's time to evolve the plan. It's time to evolve the age-old system of saying that you want something and meaning that you want something, but not really having it happen. Because the reality is, most people find out that the year has gone by or several months has gone by and they haven't made it happen, and either they give up on it or they put their focus somewhere else and make excuses, and then there it is. And you also might be one of those people that time is slipping away. We're getting older. And I don't know about you, but as we get older, it seems like time goes faster, doesn't it? I heard somebody say not too long ago that every day that I wake up, 2 or 3 days has already gone by. And that's what it feels like. But the reality is, the older we get, we perceive time differently. You remember when you were a kid, 10 minutes was a long time. An hour was a long time. Now an hour goes by in a minute. You get to the end of the month and you go, where did the whole month go? Well, that may be happening to your life right now. The years are going by. You may find yourself getting to that age where, you know what, if you don't do some of the things that you said you want to do and that you need to do, it's going to be harder and harder to get those things done. So that's why it's so important to do something right now. And I do want you to know that for many, many years, I did the same thing. I made resolutions and I swore I was going to do this and do that, and I really meant to do it. And some of it I really set out to do and made the plans, but I fell short, only to find out that, you know what, I needed to do it again the next year. So I started seeking answers, and fortunately throughout my life, I've had some incredible, magnificent mentors who taught me a thing or two about making things happen. And if you've worked with me before, you know that I'm a huge stickler for results. And what I mean by that is I believe in doing, because you're going to learn some great things here, and you've learned some great things in your life. And most of us know what to do. But you know what they say, knowledge is not power. Knowledge is really great. It looks good, it feels good, it sounds good, and it really gets us going at times. But knowledge by itself, you know it, doesn't make things happen. What makes things happen is activity, action, doing something about it. And even the small actions, they add up. And I want you to know that I don't assume anything bad about you. And as a matter of fact, I assume quite the opposite about you. Just the fact that you're listening to me now and you sought out this information says something about you. And that is that you care and that you want more and you're willing to do something about it where others are going to talk about it. So congratulations again. And my best wish for you is that last year was the best year you ever had. And that this year coming up is going to even be better. And by the way, if your last year wasn't so great, and if you fell short of some of your goals and desires and dreams and things like that, that's okay. Because that's why we're here right now. And my other wish for you is that you're already wildly successful beyond your wildest dreams, and that you're just doing this because you want to help others, because we all can contribute back. So either way, this is for everybody. This step-by-step system is designed to help you go further faster. So I'm going to spend the first few minutes, about the first 10 minutes, just explaining to you what we're going to do and how it's going to work and why it's going to work. And then also I'm going to give you some tips on what to do so that you can get the absolute best out of this program. And then we're going to jump right into it. So bear with me just a few minutes because I know you're going to find it valuable. So let's throw a leash on this puppy and start walking the dog. So here's what we're going to do. Here's what you can expect out of this program here. We're going to do some very simple things. It's going to be 5 simple steps. 5 simple things that you're going to do to prepare and then also for ongoing conditioning so that you make these things happen. And here's what that means. We're going to strategize what you want, and then we're going to strategize how to do what you want, and then we're going to put in place a plan of getting you to do what you want. So that this year, we look back in the next 12 months, we look back over the last 12 months and we celebrate and we rejoice because we not only made the things happen, but we went further than we anticipated. And so that you become a shining example of what is possible for those that you love and the people that are around you. This is designed to replace that old worn out facade called New Year's resolutions and really to sit on top of what you already have to enhance all of those areas of your life. And that is physical, emotional, financial, spiritual, and your relationships. Oh, and another thing. If this is not the beginning of the year, that's okay too. It could be February, March, April, whenever it is. Wherever it is, it's okay to start. You don't have to wait till necessarily January 1st. That's ideal. But if it's not, and you're doing this and it's later on in the year or earlier in the year or whatever, still, it's not so much when you start, it's that you start. So, I want you to get the absolute best out of this. So I'm going to give you some tips. And what I want you to do is to listen to this and then shut the recording off and go get these elements before you go forward. This is critical because it's really important that you prepare and that you follow the steps step by step to get the best results. Do not go forward and just listen to the whole thing and say, I'll get the stuff later. I can't stress this enough. What I've found is that people need strategies. People need a plan. And you know what? A plan is something that is a duplicatable system of producing a result. So listen to what I've got to say. Go get these simple elements and then let's go forward. Here's your first tip. Number 1, get yourself a journal because you're going to need it. We're going to put your life in there. Don't use your to-do list or your capturing list or your daily planner or that kind of thing. That's not the same thing. This isn't something that needs to be separate. A nice hardbound, it does not have to be fancy, although this is your year. This is your life. So you know what I do is I like to go out and get a nice, maybe even a leather-bound journal, something that I can tie together. And number 2, get yourself some sort of online or digital scheduling system. One that has reminders on it. And what I mean by that is something that you can program something that is going to go beep, 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 or something that says, hey, it's time to do this. And this, by the way, what you're about to embark on is going to take maybe 10 minutes of your day. 10 minutes, and I'm sure you'll agree with me that 10 minutes a day, your life is worth, especially this next year, your life is worth 10 minutes a day. And this is something that's going to be ongoing, meaning you're going to condition yourself so it happens automatically. Said differently, we're going to condition you so that you don't have to think about it. You'll get up early, stay up later, and you're going to do the things that are necessary. Because, by the way, what happens to a great deal of people is with the best of intentions, we mean to do more, but we just forget and life takes over. We got to take care of the family. We got to, pick the kids up. We got to do all kinds of other things. Life takes over and we forget. So this is critical. Get yourself some sort of scheduling system that will remind you. Number 3, get yourself together, and all of them are critical. Get yourself together a list of people that you're going to share this with from the very beginning. And here's what I mean by that. And remember, all of these things are critical. Find yourself a group of people, 2, 3, 4, 10, the more the merrier, and engage them in this process as well. And let me share with you why. And this is so, so powerful. You've heard this your whole life. The people that you hang around with will determine who you will become. Plain and simple. There's no two ways about it. We're not going to go through the whole thing. You know about that. But the reality is people love having a team. We need support. I'm going to be your support and your mentor through this whole process, just like I've had mentors. But you know what? After that, you're going to need people around you. You want people that you can hold to a higher standard and that they will hold you to a higher standard. Find those people and email them or call them up or whatever and say, hey, listen, I know you want to make your year the best year possible as well. And I just found this incredible program that I've started on, and I want you to be my partner in this so that you get what you want and you help me get what I want, because I know you'll hold me to a higher standard, and I'll do the same for you if you'll allow me to. And you know what? If they say, are you kidding me? Are you crazy? I don't need that kind of crap. My life is just fine. Then you just say, great, no problem. Thank you so much. And move on to the next person. It's not unusual for people to take this and have 10, 15, 20 people and work yourself a mastermind group, if you will, of people that are working together going in the same direction, which is making their own dreams, goals, and desires have happen. It's powerful. It's electric. It's energy in it, and it creates momentum. So I hope I've given you enough encouragement to make sure that that happens. So those 3 things are the most important things. Those are the keys. And also, through this process, you're going to be given some exercises, things to do, because remember, this isn't just about you just listening to me talk about some stuff. This is about you doing something to set your life up for success, set your life up, your year up to have the things happen that you want to make happen. So when it's called on to do something, do it immediately. I'm going to instruct you to shut off the tape or shut off the recording, but more specifically, get yourself some music and put yourself in a place where you can get excited. Put on some exciting music for you or an inspiring music for you that helps you feel good, because as you're doing this stuff, the state of mind that you're in is always so important. So I like to use music that really is empowering for me, maybe some rock music or something funky or something, whatever works for you. Allow yourself to be inspired. And also, download any documents that you would have as well that come along with this program as well. Print out anything that you need that we've provided for you, and have that along with you as well. Shut off the recording. Make sure that happens. So I'll see you when you get back. Make sure you get these things done, and let's make this year magnificent. Well, welcome back. Well, I used to say, I hope you got those things done, but you know what? I know you did. The hope place, as one of my mentors says, is down the street. This is the do place. So congratulations, and let's get started. So the first thing I want to do is I want to tell you why New Year's resolutions don't work and why we call this the New Year's evolution. First off, New Year's resolutions, by their nature, really set people up to fail. And here's what I mean by that. A resolution is not just a decision. It's a decision, a commitment where you burn the boats that you came in on, burn those bridges. It's a hardcore, I mean it, and nothing's going to stand in my way declaration with attitude of what is going to happen. Not what you want to happen or should happen, but what is going to happen. That is what a resolution is. But as you can imagine, here's what happens, as I said before, with the best of intentions, people make those New Year's resolutions without that kind of energy behind it. They make that resolution, they say that, yeah, I want to do this. And what they base it on is really no plan at all. Oftentimes people will say, okay, I'm going to do this and I'm going to start tomorrow, but they don't even have a plan. For example, people say, I'm going to lose 20 pounds this year and I'm going to start tomorrow. But the start tomorrow means they're going to start their plan of figuring out what it is. And most of us don't really have a good solid plan. But the bottom line is, let me tell you from a psychological standpoint why resolutions just don't work. When somebody makes a decision or makes a commitment, they give their word or they decide to do something and they don't do it, then inside, that doesn't feel good. They don't feel good about themselves. And inside, somewhere inside you is going, you know what, you didn't do it. And you didn't do it last year. You're procrastinating. You're hesitating. You know what? There's something wrong with you. And all that kind of conversation that goes on inside. And when that happens, that doesn't feel good. And our entire nervous system, the part of us that makes our hair grow and our cells divide and our heart beat without our thinking about it, our entire nervous system is designed to move away from anything painful. Said differently, if the thought of not doing what you needed to do makes you feel bad, then you're attaching that bad feeling to what you need to do or what you said you were going to do, and you move away from it. And that's what makes us make excuses and deny and all that stuff. And we really mean to, but we don't deal with it right then and there because it feels bad. Not to mention that oftentimes the very thing that we need to do to make that resolution or that decision happen is not that comfortable. But the truth of the matter is, we've all done difficult things in the past. We've done things that we didn't like to do, things that were even painful. So the trick is to tap into whatever it is that got us empowered enough or excited enough or motivated enough to do whatever it took when it was difficult and we didn't want to do it and it was hard for us to do it, but we did it anyway. And then to utilize that as a tool to motivate ourselves now, to get ourselves to automatically do what it takes now or in the future to make happen whatever we need to make happen with regard to our New Year's evolution. So that is why we're doing something different. We're going to utilize what has already worked, utilize it as a tool to work now. So that's why resolutions don't work. They're a decision with emotion and feeling that doesn't feel good if you don't do it, and the nervous system will move you away from doing it just because you didn't do it. So we're going to do something different. This is why I call it the evolution, because we've evolved the system. We're going to take into consideration how we function as human beings. We're going to take into consideration how our brain works and how our body works. And we're going to organize all of those things in a way that moves us in the direction that we want. So here's what we're going to do first. Find a quiet place where you can be by yourself and you won't be interrupted for the next 25 minutes at least. And get out your journal and get out any of the documents that came along with it. Now, most goal setting or intentional things have you do, they say, start with the end in mind. Know your goal, know your outcome. And that is important. And we're going to do that. But you know what? This is an evolution. So we've evolved the system. And remember, we're utilizing what works already inside of you. And what I want you to know is the most important, the very first thing to do before you do anything at all is to get yourself in the proper attitude. Or said differently, get yourself in the proper state. And you notice I said get yourself. I didn't say rely on something or wait for something to happen, wait for yourself to be in a good mood. So the very first step is to get prepared. Prepare yourself to win. If you just do this one thing, get yourself warmed up or get yourself prepared or get yourself in state to do what you want to do, you stack the deck in your favor. This one thing alone will change your life. Most people will start something or try to do something from a cold place and then wonder why they're not performing at their best. So instead, before we do anything at all, we're going to get ourselves prepared, we're going to get ourselves warmed up, we're going to get ourselves in state so that we're already operating at our absolute best when we hit the ground running. Because the simple fact is that when we feel good, we do good. When we feel bad, we do bad. But what most people don't realize is that we have the ability, we all possess the ability to manifest whatever states, attitudes, and feelings that we want. I'll repeat myself. We all, every human being, it's our God-given right, it's our God-given ability to manifest, to make, to create any state of mind, any emotion, any feeling that we want, any time. Now, I'm not going to go into the semantics of how that all works. I'm just going to tell you. And by the way, you don't have to know all that stuff. You can get more information from some of the other stuff that we have. But for now, I just want you to just do it. And what I mean by that is this. Not too many people can describe exactly how electricity works. But every single one of us can walk over to the wall and hit the switch and get the light. So what I encourage you to do is to let's walk over to the switch and hit the light called your attitude. So your attitude will determine your altitude, meaning how high you'll go, how far you'll go. You know, I always like to point it out that you never, ever, ever see a professional athlete or a professional musician just go from their street clothes to stepping on stage or stepping out in the field. What they do is they warm up. You know, if you're a baseball fan or a football fan, you notice that what they're doing is they're exercising, they're stretching, they're doing all of that stuff before. A pitcher, a baseball pitcher is throwing balls, and they do that. All of them warm up before. Why? Because they're warming their body up, but they're also warming their state of mind up. And in case you don't know, they're saying things to themselves. I can do it. You know, you're the best. Whatever it is, they're saying those things to themselves to fortify themselves. Now, what we found is I'm going to show you a tried and true way that you don't have to spend a whole lot of time warming up. You can do it very quickly, but it's key. It's important. So here's what we're going to do. It's going to be very, very simple. Open your journal, and the very first page, instead of writing out your goal and things like that, here's what I want you to write. And if there's a landing page or a title page, of course, put your name in there, big and bold, and today's date, because this is the day that you put the stakes in the ground. And then open up to the first page. And at the top of the page, you're going to write these words exactly. My warm-up. And by the way, that's step number 1. Warm-up. And down the left-hand side of the page, you're going to write these words, skipping a few lines in between each word. 2 or 3 lines. First, move it. Then see it. Then say it. Then praise it. Move it, see it, say it, praise it. Has a nice little ring to it, doesn't it? And here's what that means. Move it is this. The most effective and quickest way to change one's attitude or change one's state is through the movement of their body. Did you know, without going into it, there's reams and reams of information about this, but remember, this isn't about information, but I do want you to get a little understanding, and that is this, that every movement on your body produces a chemical action or causes your body to release chemicals into you to make you feel a certain way. Said differently, even a smile on your face causes your brain to release chemicals that make you feel good. So that might be a good place to start. Put a smile on your face, stand up, throw your shoulders back, take a deep breath, stand tall and proud as though you are in that physiology, as we call it, or in that physical movement of somebody that is able to do exactly what it is that you want to make happen. And this is part of, by the way, causing ourselves to feel good. I really want you to get it, that it's a very physical, a mechanical thing, if you will, that when you move your body, you move your emotion. You move how you feel. Somebody that is depressed, guess what? Their body is all slumped over, breathing shallowly, a frown on their face, and it causes them to feel that way. But in an instant, you can stand up, shake yourself out, put a smile on your face, breathe deeply, and what you'll notice is you'll start to feel good. You can't help it. So that's number 1. This is your warm-up. Now, number 2, see it. What does that mean? And what is it? It means you. See you in your mind's eye, doing whatever it takes or being whatever it is. See you in your mind's eye, in your own majesty. See you standing strong. See yourself with a smile on your face. And let me give you a little hint. All you got to do is go to the mirror and look at yourself. Put a smile on your face. Stand tall. Use your imagination. Your imagination is the strongest tool that you have to create the truth, the life that you want. The truth is whatever you imagine it to be. So use that imagination. See yourself. You know, sometimes people get a picture of themselves and, you know, when people want to change their physical outlooks, I used to do this. I'd get my head and cut it out of one picture and put it on another body. And I'd use my imagination. You can close your eyes. You can use your eyes open, whatever. See it, see it, see it. See yourself. This isn't just seeing your goals, seeing your dream. This is seeing you. Because the most important factor in this whole thing is, guess who? You. Remember, we're evolving you. So see yourself strong, see yourself confident, see yourself excited, see yourself with a smile on your face. See. Next, say it. Your words, just like your visions, just like your imaginations, have the ability to change your biochemical makeup. What does that mean? The words that you say cause you to feel a certain way as well. They cause you to focus on certain things. And they make you feel a certain way. You can say, I feel like crap. And guess what? You'll feel like crap. Those words make you feel bad. If you've worked with me before, you know that my words have the ability to inspire you or make you laugh or make you cry or make you angry or make you happy, whatever it is. And so do yours. And when you are those things, there's different chemicals flowing throughout your blood. Different organic chemicals, if you will, but those things are what make you feel that way. So as long as that works, use those words. And here's some examples. You can just say yes. You can say, you know what, all right. You can say, give it to me, or I'm ready, or whatever it is. You can say an identity statement, and if you need an identity statement, then obviously you're going to go to one of our programs called How to Build a Powerful Identity. But you don't have to. You can just say yes. You can say whatever it is. You know what, let's go. Let's roll. Whatever works for you, say something. Be audible. And by the way, if people think you're crazy when you're doing this, that's okay. Let them. Because through your success, they're going to want to do that kind of stuff as well. But that's why I said take a quiet place where you're not going to be disturbed. And the last thing is, praise it. Now this, if you've worked with me on anything before, you know this one thing alone has the ability to change everything about you. And that is praise. And I am going to go into a little bit of depth about this. That's how important it is. It is the thing that most people fall short of, and it is the one thing that makes every human being go forward. And that is to have some sort of acknowledgement or praise or reward. It's what makes anything with a heartbeat go forward. My age-old analogy, you've heard it 1,000 times by now, hopefully, is this. That when a baby turns around for the very first time in its life and goes, Ma, the parents do not go, you know, honey, I know he or she is trying to say mother. They didn't get it right, so let's ignore them. Or better yet, let's go over and scold them, maybe spank them on the hand and let them know what they did wrong. It's mother, not ma. Unbelievable. They don't do that. What they do is they go for good girl, good boy, great job, and they praise that child. And get this, the baby's nervous system, the smartest part of that baby and the smartest part of anybody, the part again that makes everything happen without you thinking about it, it learns very quickly that all it has to do is try and it's going to get reward. And that moving towards, that going towards the pleasure, the reward, or the acknowledgement is what we all crave. It's called love. And the nervous system learns that, you know what, I'll just keep doing whatever I did before. And I'm going to get that love. And that's how you condition oneself. Condition yourself through praise. And what happens is, whatever you condition yourself to do, it'll start to do it automatically. I hope you can start to get right now what's getting ready to happen. This is the way to condition or to program your nervous system to do it automatically. So when you move your body, put a smile on your face, stand tall, breathe deeply, shake your body out or do whatever it is. And then when you say the words, yes, and then you see yourself as it's going to be, and then you praise yourself. And here's how you praise yourself. You can just pat yourself on the back, or you can do a little dance and put a smile on your face and just acknowledge yourself and just say something, you know what, I freaking rock, or whatever you do. Something that you acknowledge yourself. I know that might be tough for some people, but no, I didn't say this was going to be easy. I just said that they were going to be simple steps. I know that might be tough for you, but it is well worth it. Most of us will give other people compliments and praise quicker than we'll give ourselves. So that is it. That's the number one thing. I told you it was simple. Number one, your warm up. And I'm going to tell you how to use this. Remember, all of this stuff is going to take you just a few minutes every day to do. Now, let's move on to step number 2. Step number 2 is where most people start. And that is where you want to go. Know your outcome. What is your focus? What is your outcome? What is that resolution or that goal, that dream, or whatever it is that you want to make happen? Now, I want you to look at this in terms of what you would have normally done. Most people, what they do is they make a New Year's resolution that is one thing. I'm going to lose weight, or I'm going to start a business, or I'm going to gain some muscle, or I'm going to buy a new car, or whatever it is. So I want you to look at this in terms of the same way. This is not about goal setting at this point. You can do all of that stuff, and the other ancillary goals that you set are going to be great, but that's not what this is. This is to take place of that big thing, that main thing that's going to make the biggest difference, that's going to give you that juice, that's going to give you that pride at the end of the year. When you look back and you go, I lost that 50 pounds, or I started my business, or I bought a new car, or I got my relationship better, or I went on vacation, or I took some time for myself, or I went fishing, whatever it is, whatever yours is. But how we're going to do this is let's brainstorm. So what I want you to do is I want you to turn to 5 pages before the end of your journal. In other words, turn to the last page and count back 4 till you have 5 pages left. And at the top of the page, I want you to write, my choices. And what I want you to do is I want you to get some music, relax for a moment, and I want you to shut off the recording, and I want you to take however long you need it to be to write down those choices that you have. Because the reality is you got a lot of choices. Now, if you already have one clear thing in your mind, I still want you to do the exercise. I want you to write your choices down of things that might be a big thing for you to commit to doing this year. I said a bunch of them: losing weight, making more money, having a better relationship, buying a car, going on vacation, and the list goes on and on. Whatever it is, I had one guy say, you know what, I'm finally going to buy me a Harley Davidson. And guess what? He got it. But I want you to write down your choices. Write as many as you possibly can. And we're going to shut the recording off, and we're going to come back when that's done. Don't hesitate. Time to go for it now. I'll see you when you're done. Well, welcome back. Now, look at that page. Now, hopefully you filled up some of those pages. Here's what I want you to do now. I want you to prioritize them. And what I mean is, look at the one that gives you the most emotional intensity. The one that makes you go, yep, that's the one. And if it's not clear, list them and try them out. Put one at the top of the list and see how that feels. And what I want you to look at is this. It does not mean that you're not going to get them all. You can have all of them that you want in case you haven't figured that out. But the one that is the linchpin, the Rosetta Stone, if you will, if you get that one, if you do that one, it's going to make the other ones a piece of cake. So choose which one that is. Go through and prioritize and find the one which one it is. Shut the recording off, and when you have that, come back. Well, welcome back. Now that you have that, that is the one that you're going to make happen. That's the one we're going to go for. Now, you can use the same process on all of them. You may have gone, you know what, I couldn't decide, so I had to choose 3 of them. And that's fine. That's fine. I want you to have them. I want you to have them all. And I also want you to focus your attention on the main one, because it's a processional effect. And what that means is the one that you're working on will make you feel so good that you'll continue to do the others. Now, what I want you to do is to flip back again to page number 2 of your journal. And at the top of the page, I want you to write these words: my choice. Now notice I didn't say my resolution. I want you to write my choice. And then underneath that, I want you to write, I choose to. And then after that, I'm going to tell you, and you're going to write in your own words, you're going to write something akin to what I'm about to say here. And I want you to take the time to write it down. By the way, the reason I'm having you write this stuff down is when we keep it in our minds, it stays in our minds, and we got all kinds of other stuff going on up there. Take out the garbage, go to work, pick up the kids, change the tires on the car, all the good, all the bad, everything in between there. It's all mixed around, and it isn't in one place that you can look at and see and call upon and remind yourself of. So when you put it on paper, once you put something on paper, it becomes a very real thing. And at the risk of sounding cosmic, it literally goes out into the universe and attracts it to you. But that's a whole nother story there that we're not going to get into, but just trust me, it does. So you're going to write it down. And what you're going to write is something like this: And again, I'm going to use weight loss as an example just because it's an easy one to go for. Maybe money or something like that might be yours or whatever. But you're going to write down and then by the way, put your name. In my case, it'd be I, Joseph McClendon III. I, Joseph McClendon III, choose to, within the next 12 months, eliminate from my body 50 unwanted pounds of fat. I choose to do whatever it takes to make it happen. I choose to have the body that I want. I choose to have the energy that will come from that. I choose to have the looks, the physique, and all of the feelings and everything that goes along with having gotten rid of that excess weight. I choose to feel good about it, and I choose to every single day do something towards the attainment of that goal. You can write more and as long as you want. Matter of fact, fill the page up if you can. And at the bottom of that page, I want you to sign your name with the best signature that you've ever done in your life. Now, take the time to do this. A good thing to do might be to write this out somewhere else, maybe go to your computer and write it out. And by the way, do not put this on your computer as being your journal. You can transfer it to that later, but I want you to hand write it out in your journal. Make sure you do that. So take the time to do that now. Give yourself up to a half hour, maybe even an hour to do it, but get back and let's get it done. Do not put this off until tomorrow. This is step number 2 is critical for you to do. And remember, you agreed, you promised yourself to follow it to a T. So have fun with this. You can make it poetic. You can use my example. You can do whatever it is. And you may have noticed that I said it in the positive. I didn't say I'm going to lose this so that I'm not fat. I said that I choose to have this, and this. Stated in the positive as though you want it to be and as though it is right now. Shut off the recording, pause it, and I'll see you back here in just a little while. Well, welcome back. Now, what you have is you have your warm-up and you have your choice. And that choice is your goal. It's your target. And it's so, so important to have. The old analogy is wherever you look is where you're going to go. And hopefully I have had the privilege of speaking to you and working with you on other things and other programs, but you know the analogy that I use about looking where you want to go. You know, people drive into telephone poles because they're looking at the pole. And if you imagine something, you imagine licking a lemon, your mouth will water. So your body will do whatever you imagine. And now what you have is a clear-cut choice of something positive, of what you're going to have. And again, remember what I said earlier, is that your body, your brain, your nervous system, your emotions will move towards, will do what it takes to have the pleasure, and they'll move away from the pain. Beautiful. Now, what's really important is this. Praise yourself. At this point, what I want you to do, stand up, pat yourself on the back right now. Say yes, squeeze your fist, put a smile on your face, say great job, do whatever it takes, be silly. Because you know what? People say, well, you know what? I don't feel comfortable being silly. Well, listen, children, they're the most successful human beings on the planet. They all learn how to walk. They all learn how to talk. They all learn how to write their names because they know you just keep doing it. And they're the silliest people on the planet, aren't they? They jump around. They bounce around. They put a smile on their face. You don't have to tell them to feel good. They're always just a lick away from feeling good. And they're always making themselves feel good. So do it. Be a kid right now. Praise yourself. Great job for what you've done there. Now, step number 3. Very, very important. Let's get a strategy or a plan together to make it happen. So on page number 3, I want you to write at the top of the page, my plan. Hope you're starting to see how this works. Because you know what they say. I hate to sound all clichéic and all of that stuff. It's just that if you fail to plan, then you plan to fail. And it's really, really simple. And that means this. If you don't have a map, if you don't have a plan, if you don't have a strategy, then it ain't gonna happen. And what that means is this. If you gotta make it up every day, and if you don't have it set in stone ahead of time, then just the act of looking for it and trying to make it happen and looking for the method of making it happen is going to be painful. And we already talked about painful. We'll move away from it. We'll go watch television or, play sports or watch the game or something like that. You'll wake up a year from now in the same boat. So instead, we're going to strategize. Now, I do not know what yours is. So, the best thing that you can do, the easiest way to go further faster is the concept of modeling somebody else. And what that means is, if somebody else has already done what you want and has gotten success at it, instead of you going through the school of hard knocks and making it up and trial and error and going through all that pain, just do what they did. And notice what I said, what they did, not what they're doing. What they did to get the results. So if it's, again, weight loss, or let's just use something else, maybe starting a business or making more money. And let's say somebody started their own home-based business, for example, and that's pretty popular these days. And let's say you found a great business, then go find somebody that's successful at that and model them. Find out what they did. Pick their brain. The internet is full of information and examples of people that have done what you want or something similar. So go find them, find out what they did, find out specifically what they believed, meaning what they believed about themselves, believed about the business, believed about what was possible. If you can find this person face to face, you just ask them, listen, what do you believe about yourself? What do you believe about, starting a business? What do you believe about making money? What do you believe about, a work schedule? What do you believe about this? You can ask them those questions, get as much information as you can because you're going to duplicate that stuff. Also find out, how they move their body. If it's weight loss, what do they do? What did they eat? When did they do all that stuff? Get the best plan you possibly can. Find one that you know is going to work. Not one that is super complicated. Find one that's going to fit with you. Because listen, we're going to get the inside of you working for you as well, meaning your emotion, but you got to have something that works as well. Take the time to do it right now. It is worth it. And so under your plan, here's what I want you to write. And you're going to write again. I and your name choose to. And remember, we're choosing to do this because a choice feels better. If you feel like you have to do something, you're forced to do something, then it's not going to feel good. It's going to feel uncomfortable. And we already talked about that. What happens within our nervous system and what it causes us to do unconsciously. That's why we wind up on the couch. But if you choose to do something, it feels better. And it feels like it's your choice. It feels like that you're doing it of your own free will. So I, and then your name, choose to, and then you're going to lay out your plan. If it's a plan of weight loss, you might say something like, I choose to, every morning, get up and do my warm-up. You got it. My warm-up. That's page number 1. And then number 2, and you can just do it as a list, by the way. Read my goal out loud and visualize it. You'll learn more about that here and later. And then on Sunday, go out and fill my refrigerator with the healthy foods and vegetables and anything that I need to sustain me through the week, so you don't find yourself driving by McDonald's hungry. I choose to lay out my plan and then go into the kitchen, make myself a healthy breakfast, go for a walk of 20 minutes, hit the gym, praise myself, do all those things. You write your plan out. And it'll be exciting, guys. If you do this, as you do this, you'll find yourself getting excited as you do this. Now, I should remind you that as you're doing this, every time you shut the tape off, move it, see it, say it, praise it. Meaning, get yourself in a great state as you even write this stuff down. Shake yourself out. If you feel yourself starting to get a little stressed, put a smile on your face, jump around for a minute, change your attitude. You have the ability to change it. And sit down and do it. So take all the time you need right now to hurry on up and get your plan together. Research it. Get the best plan. Now, when I say that, I want you to be very careful. Do not get caught up in the paralysis of analysis. Give yourself a half hour, maybe an hour, whatever it takes to get that plan together as quickly as possible. Remember, this is your future. And this bit of time, this preparation that we're doing right now is what makes it all work. So you're going to shut the recording off. Put your plan together, find out whatever that best plan is. And by the way, even if you go online and find the plan there and copy it verbatim for whatever it is, tailor it to whatever yours is. If it's to make money or start a business or, go on vacation, what are your steps to do it? Shut the recording off, write it down, and I'll see you back here in a moment. Well, welcome back. Now here's where it starts to be fun. You've gotten those 3 things done. And remember, what's so great now is what you're doing is you are putting together, you're preparing, you're setting yourself up for success. You're setting yourself up to make happen what in most cases most people have not been able to make happen. And this plan is going to fortify you, and it'll have a processional effect, meaning that the other things that you'll do in your life will become easier, faster, and you'll find yourself being pulled into. So step number 3 is another powerful, powerful piece. And it is so powerful, this is what's going to pull you into the future. And it is so much better to be pulled than to be pushed by you or anybody else. This is the thing that's going to activate your nervous system to do more when you don't want to. Because let's face it, let's just say, for example, you want to start a different business, or you want to, take some more courses or something like that, or you want to do something, you want to exercise or whatever it is. But say, for instance, you work all day long. You work 8 hours a day and you drive an hour each way, and it's 10 hours. And by the time you get home, you're tired. And you got to deal with a lot of life when you get home. There's other things that you have to do, not to mention eating your dinner and all those things, and you're just tired. But you know what? There are people that have a lot more to do than you or I, and they get a lot more done. How do they get it? How do they get that energy? Where do they get it from? Well, yes, some of it is from their diet and all of that stuff and everything, but they get it from what we call being pulled into their future. They get it from having a strong enough reason why. And here's what I mean by that. Human beings do some amazing things because they have a strong enough reason why. I've done some amazing things, and so have you. It is the back of your drive. It is the core of what drives you to do something. And that is your reason why. Now, again, I'm not going to go through all the details, but I'll give you another analogy that I love to use. And that is that if you and I are standing outside of a house, and that house is surrounded by a moat full of water, and in that water are alligators, crocodiles, poisonous fish, poisonous lobsters, and snakes, and all that other stuff. And then around the outside of that moat is a 10-foot barbed wire and saber wire electric fence. You touch it, it'll electrocute you. And then there's a sign on it that says if you get caught trespassing, you're going to get an LAPD beatdown, and you're going to jail. And you and I are standing on the outside of that fence, and I say to you, hey, you, inside that house, laying on the bed, in one of the bedrooms is a $10 bill. And if you go inside that house, you can have that $10 bill. Now, be honest with me. Would you go in the house? Well, unless you're crazy or you have a death wish, the answer is absolutely not. Forget about it. Not for $10. But if I said to you, inside the house, laying on the bed, asleep, is the person that you love the most in life, and the house is on fire, and if you don't get in and wake them up, they'll die. Here's the question: will you get in the house? The answer for most people is absolutely yes. As a matter of fact, you would fight me. You would fight anybody to keep you from getting in, because you have a strong enough reason why. Now, if you've heard that before, that's great. I want you to hear it enough times that you repeat it to other people. But what happens is something gets ignited inside of you that will cause you to do whatever it takes, that'll cause you to get up early, stay up late, and to do the extra stuff. So on page number 3, at the top of the page, I want you to write these words: my why. And what I want you to do is, again, this is your opportunity to craft your life. Why are you going to lose the weight? Why are you going to start a business? Why are you going to take a vacation? Why are you going to work on your relationship? Why are you going to buy a new car? And it's personal to you. And remember, this is your journal. This is your life. Now you can understand why I said get something that's special and something that's dedicated to that, because I want you to write this down. Why? And it can look something like this. You know what? I'm going to start a business this year because it's time that I create my own financial wall around my family so that I can send my children to a better school, so that I can retire at a decent age and still have income coming in, so that I can provide for my parents who are getting up there at age. So that I can have the luxuries that I've wanted my whole life, so I can buy a new Harley Davidson, whatever it is for you. I'm going to lose the weight because, you know what? I want to be around to see my children graduate from high school, my daughters get married. I want to see my grandkids. I want to look good in my clothes. I want to attract a mate. That's why I'm doing this. Whatever it is for you. And I hope you can get that how sincere I am about this, because this is so, so important. Most people never figure this out. You are so far ahead of the game when you do something like this, because this is what drives you. Not just your goal. Goals are great, but there's a reason why you're doing it. People want more money, not so they can have the pieces of paper and the zeros behind their numbers in their checking account. It's what they're going to do with it. Why you want to have wealth, so that you can contribute to other people so that they can have better lives, so that you can be an example for your children. Whatever it is, your reason why. Can you see that it's worth it to take the time to sit down right now and craft out your own reason why? So that's what we're going to do. Step number 3 is to figure out. Step number 3 is to put to paper your reason why. And, a little hint, like I said before, you might, type it up on your computer and go through a few things and, have something that just fits for you. For me, one of my New Year's resolutions a while ago was to just do that, to build a financial wall around my family so that they didn't have to worry about it. And they, if I was gone, then they'd be provided for. And I thought about that, and I visualized that, and I imagined that, what it would be like, not if I was gone and they didn't have it, but if I was, even around and they did have it. And the comfort that I would feel knowing that I was financially secure. And guess what? Made it happen. And that's what I want for you as well, if that is your goal. So again, time for me to say goodbye for a little while, and time for you to get to play. So shut off the recording or pause it, and I'll see you back here in just a little bit. Fill that page up if you can. If you don't, you don't have to. It can be just a paragraph or a few sentences. But, dig deep inside you right now and go for it. This is your life. I'll see you in just a little bit. Bye-bye. Well, welcome back. Last stage. Now, here's what we're going to do. All of this stuff is great, and you may have even gone to, done other things like this before, written your goals down and everything. But unless you schedule it, unless you make a plan of when it's going to get done, the likelihood of it actually getting done is very, very small. And as a matter of fact, that's why people will start something with the best of intentions, and then a few weeks later, they're not doing it. This is something that has made such a huge difference in my life, because, as you might imagine, I got a pretty busy life. And even with an assistant to remind me of things sometimes, they're not with me 24/7. So I rely on things to remind me of when it's time to do something. So what you're going to do is you're going to schedule it. So your 5th step you can find on page number 5 or however many pages you are into your journal. Right at the top of your page, My Schedule. And then what you're going to do is you're going to take the time to do this. There's Yahoo, there's Outlook, a lot of different programs that, you can put on your computer or program your phone that have little chimes and things like that. And I suggest you do them all. Something that pops up and reminds you, whether it's something that's visual or a little ding on your phone or whatever it is, something. We live in this day and age where all of this stuff is available and most of it is free. Yahoo and, several of the other accounts, they're absolutely free. You can get a calendar that reminds you. Now, I want you to know that I'm absolutely sensitive of the life that you already have. And I'm not assuming that you got all the time in the world. As a matter of fact, probably the opposite. It's oftentimes that people that will listen to something like this and venture out to do this, they already got a lot of stuff to do. And that makes it even more important that you schedule. So what I want you to do is you're going to take the time to schedule out each and every day. And what I mean by that is not, 365 days. Schedule it out at a week at a time or a month at a time if you can get that kind of regularity. But I say a week at a time because most people's weekdays are different than their weekends. But there's going to be a few things on there, I'll tell you what they are here in a moment, that are going to be consistent every single day. I know you're going, I got to do something every day. It's 10 minutes every day. And the questions you got to ask yourself are 2 of them. Is it worth it to spend 10 minutes a day to fortify my soul to make sure that I get done what needs to be done? And I know the answer is yes. And then the other thing is that you need to ask is, where am I losing 10 minutes throughout my day? For most of us, we're losing way more than that. And you know what? You can do this in the car, you can do it wherever, the first part of this anyway. So there's 2 areas of your scheduling that you're going to do. One of them, and it's the very first thing that you're going to do every single day, is that you're going to schedule your PD. And what does that stand for? Personal development. And it's only going to take you 5 or 10 minutes. PD, personal development. Now, that's a word that I want to give you my explanation of it because a lot of people don't know what it is. It's a great word, and it seems, well, gosh, yes, I'm developing my personality, or I'm personally developing myself. And most people don't know what the explanation is. So I'm going to give you the Joseph McClendon explanation of what personal development is so you can wrap your arms around it and understand what it means so that you can have a good understanding and a working definition. Here it goes. Personal development is just simply this: rehearsing who you're gonna become. Or shall I say, rehearsing who you want to become. And what that means is this. Let's use somebody that wants to be wealthy, for example. Wealthy or lose weight or whatever it is. I keep using those only because they're easy to understand. Not to say that they're the only ones, because there's a lot of stuff out there and people want to stop smoking or get better health, whatever it is. But let's say you want to become wealthy. You want to earn more money or whatever. Here's the question. When you have more money, or when you are at the weight that you want to be, will you be thinking differently? Yes. Will you believe different things? Yes. Will you move your body differently? Yes. Will you say and speak different things to people? Yes. Will everything about you be different? The answer is yes. So, it's just like learning to play an instrument. What do? You practice. You rehearse over and over again how you want to play, and you get better and better at it through the rehearsal. So the rehearsal of the words, the rehearsal of the movement, the rehearsal of the beliefs, the rehearsal of every single thing that you possibly can do of who you're going to become, said differently, modeling somebody that's already getting the results that you want and rehearsing and doing what they do, say, and believe in all those things, then here's what happens. You become that quicker. That is personal development. Because in the process of rehearsing or doing those things, you're developing those skills, those beliefs, those actions, those activities. You're developing that in your person. So that's what personal development is. So the first thing that you're going to schedule, my recommendation is first thing in the morning. Don't just say, okay, well, I wake up at this time, so I don't have to set an alarm. Put it in your schedule. And also, when going through the process, when that buzzer goes off or that reminder goes off or that beeper goes off, it's that time to snap, put yourself in state first and go after it immediately. No excuses. Jump right into it, because oftentimes what happens is people go, okay, well, gosh, it's time to do it, but I'll do it a little bit later. Do it immediately, and you'll start to strengthen that muscle called doing it now, and it'll become just that, a strong muscle. Put it in there and make a reminder for it. I use Yahoo, quite honestly, because it's easy, but I also use Outlook and a couple of other things as well. So you can have 4, 5, 10 of them through your day. It's okay. Remember, it's temporary. And when I mean temporary, it's a year's time to set up the whole rest of your life. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to schedule your PD. And here's what it means. Here's what that looks like. All you're going to do is schedule 10 minutes. I'm going to tell you here in a moment what that PD looks like. We're going to put this whole thing together. But you're going to put 10 minutes in your schedule. I recommend first thing in the morning, but you can do it any time you want, just as long as you do it. My recommendation, and the reason I recommend the first thing in the morning, is because it's like the domino effect. The first thing you do in the morning sets up your whole day. So that's part number 1 of scheduling. Schedule your PD, your personal development. And by the way, you can do other things and add to it, but that's just your PD for your New Year's evolution. And what I mean by you can do other things is, listen to other tapes and listen to other programs and so on and so forth and work on other areas of your life. But this is the one thing towards this outcome that we're going to do. The second part of the schedule is the schedule that supports the previous step, which is your plan. And what that means is if you have a time that you've put in your schedule, you've carved out a time that you're going to go for a run or a walk or some exercise, or a schedule for a time that it's time to eat. Because, sometimes people, they wait too long to eat and then they overeat. So if you schedule it in there, you put it in there, then guess what? Then your life starts to go that way. Everything changes. If you schedule it as some phone calls that you have to make to support your business, if it's a phone call that you got to make to, call and connect with your children or whatever it is, put it in your schedule and put a reminder up for it. Do not take it for granted, because here's what people do sometimes as well, is they'll put it in a schedule and then they'll forget to look at their schedule. But I want you to have something. We live in such a sophisticated technological world that there's all kinds of opportunities and options. You can have one that rings on your cell phone. You can have something that rings on your computer. You can have one that if you got a pager, you got all kinds of ways. I don't know that there's a service out there, but somebody told me that there's a service, that there's somebody that you can put a schedule, and it's like a wake-up call where somebody will call you on whatever number that you want just to remind you of what it is. I use the heck out of wake-up calls in hotels because I travel around the world and, I'm in another country and my body doesn't know what time it is, so I'll set a wake-up call. And after a while, here's what happens. Because some people are thinking, gosh, now I got this to do as well. You actually start looking forward to it. Because especially with the PD, it makes you feel good. And you start looking forward and you start to crave doing what it's going to take. So that's it. Those are the 5 keys. Those are the 5 steps. Number 1, your warm-up. Number 2, your choice. Number 3, your reason why. Number 4, your plan. And number 5, schedule it. Now, let's put them all together. And then let's get rocking on this thing. Now, by the way, before we put it together, here's what I want you to do. I want you to shut off the recording. It's one more time. It's the last time. Shut off the recording and go out and put together your schedule now. We're in the home stretch. You're coming in, guns a-blazing. So set up your schedule, and I'll see you in just a little bit. Bye-bye. Well, welcome back. Now it's time to polish this thing up. It's time to put the finishing touches on you and tell you how to operate this thing. This is your evolution, the evolutionary you, the New Year's evolution. Here's what it is. The number 1 thing that you're going to have done was you're going to have scheduled your PD. I'm going on that you've chosen to do it first thing in the morning, but if you do it any other time, that's okay. The first thing that you're going to do is when you wake up, you're going to go into the bathroom or go to a quiet place. I suggest you go to the mirror, look yourself in the eyes, and you're going to open your journal up. And you're going to stand tall. You're going to take a deep breath. You're going to put a smile on your face. You're going to move your body. You're going to say yes or whatever it is that you say. And you're going to see it. You're going to imagine yourself in that state. Then you're going to praise yourself, pat yourself on the back. You're going to do this 5 times every morning. And it can be done very, very quickly. 5 times will take you maybe 2 minutes, 3 minutes to do it. Pretty simple. And another thing that you're going to find if you do it first thing in the morning is better than a cup of coffee. It really is. Don't get me started on that, because what you're doing is you're using your own natural chemicals, your own natural pharmaceuticals, for lack of a better term, that your body produces instead of going and pouring something in you that was manufactured somewhere else that you had to pay some money for. You get it for free. So that's the first thing. Is you go in and you do your page number 1. Flip the page immediately after that, and you're going to do page number 2. You're simply going to read your choice. Read the words that you wrote down. As you read them, imagine them and stand tall and continue to go through your PD. Imagine it, use your imagination, make it as vivid and as bright and as brilliant as you possibly can. A lot of times people will go out and they'll make like a dream board and they'll get a picture of what it is that they want to have, the car or the body, whatever it is that they want, and they'll put it in front of them and they'll look at it and they'll just allow themselves to get crazy about it. Looking at it and imagining and seeing it. If you know anything about manifesting or attracting things to you, you know that what this is doing is it's making it a very real thing and drawing it towards you. So get excited. At the very least, it makes it a very real thing in your mind. That which is repeated over and over again becomes real in your mind, and your body goes, it's mine already, so I might as well do what it takes. And it gets excited about going out and doing it. The next thing is you'll flip the page and you'll read your reason why. Read it out loud. Now, by the way, all of this stuff out loud. If people think you're crazy, let them think you're crazy. They're going to love your craziness here in just a little while. If they criticize you, so what? They criticize the Wright brothers. They criticize Edison. They criticize everybody. They criticized me. So the reality is let them do it. Just say, listen, more power to you. That's great. No problem. And go about your business. Next. So now you're going to read your reason why, and you can do the same thing. Get excited about it. Feel it in your heart. Move your body as you do it. See it as though it's real. Imagine it. And then praise yourself. Praise every single step. Praise, 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 praise. Next, look at your plan. And oftentimes what happens is we look at our plans, we can adjust that plan sometimes. We can go, oh, you know what? This works and this doesn't. So I can change this. I can move this. But look at your plan and get yourself prepared. You're preparing yourself for your day. And then lastly, your schedule will be taking care of itself. Look at your schedule every day. It's important you look at your schedule and go, oh, I remember that this is coming, because that's what conditions it to be automatic. Pretty soon, you won't even need those reminders, but it's there. And go about your day. Now, one more thing. Remember earlier I said that it was imperative that you involve as many people around you as possible in this process. Now's the time to do that. Email them this process, call them up, send them to the site, whatever it takes, and get them going on it as well. For 3 real big reasons. Number 1, these are the people, your friends, your loved ones, that you want them by your side along with you, and you want their success as well. Number 2, they make a great support system. And number 3, they'll hold you to a higher standard, and we all feel good when we teach them and mentor them and bring them along. So it's great to do it as a team, so make sure you make that happen. Now, what's so great about what you've done is you've gotten this far and that you've gotten everything done. Now, the next step is it is up to you. And what I mean by that is this. Tomorrow, whatever the date is, it's time to start. You've already started doing this stuff right now. I don't care what the date is. It's time to start. First thing in the morning, you go after it. So what I want to do is I want to thank you. I want to congratulate you in advance, and I look forward to hearing your testimony. I look forward to hearing about you and what you made happen. Because oftentimes, here's what happens with people. They start doing this, and it doesn't take them a year to get what they want. They realize that, oh man, I wish I'd have done this sooner. And they make way for better things. So thank you so much for this opportunity to share with you something that, like I said in the very beginning, and I'm sure you'll agree with me now, has the potential to change your life. So don't take that lightly. Don't take you lightly. Remember that life is exactly what you dare to make it. And fortune favors the bold. So dare to boldly step into your future and make your life magnificent. I'm Joseph McClendon III, and it's been my privilege and my honor to serve you. I look forward to seeing you in the future. Make your life magnificent. Bye-bye.